Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor, bringing you another video on how to raise your vibration so you can live your best life. I want to continue a conversation that was started in a video probably last week sometime, maybe no more than 2 weeks ago. And the conversation was, does life have to be hard? And this topic is still continuing to be top of mind for me. And it's really fascinating. If you saw my vlog yesterday, you know that I am divorced for about 36 hours now. And it has been very freeing that there has been a very significant weight lifted off my shoulders. And it begs the question, because we live in a society that so deeply has ingrained the belief that life has to be difficult. And I don't even think it's just where I live here in the United States, but globally, that for many, many generations, likely stemming back farther than I can even put a number on, there has been this belief that life has to be hard. And it may even be that for a time, the way we learned collectively as a human consciousness was through difficulty. And yes, we live in a dualistic world. There does need to be contrast, and there will always be challenges, but it doesn't have to be hard. And I know that this belief, and it's very fascinating for me because I am a Capricorn rising, Aries sun. So, a lot of strategy, a lot of drive, a lot of efficiency, effectiveness, doing things the right way, creating stable foundations. And so that requires that I am absolutely certain of what I speak of. I look for scientific proof and evidence to things to triangulate and to prove hypotheses. I'm very careful not to speak in abstracts that I cannot be certain of. And certainly leveraging the internal compass that truth resonates in the body, there can be a knowing or an indication that there is more to seek. But around this topic, there's not a lot to prove that life can be easy. And in the previous video, I referenced the phrase, "My yoke is burden, my easy is light." And there are some pieces of evidence, but even in the Buddhist tradition, where the statement was made that life is suffering, you can go back and look at the translation that the word that we translated to mean suffering can have many different meanings, when in fact it can also mean that life is impermanent, ever changing. And so as I have gone through this journey of having a very tumultuous childhood, just about every form of abuse that you could think of, experiencing extreme coping mechanisms, drug and alcohol abuse, lots of narcissistic relationships, and general narcissistic control powers in my life. The energy of it was very pervasive. Having overcome all of those things, even going through the process of extracting myself from those things has been a long-term process. That my first dark night of the soul, and the very first moments that I really became aware and conscious, I awoke, as you would say. I hate the we're not going to go there. This is not a woke thing for anybody who questions that, but I became awake in early 2012. And it has been a long journey, and there was a lot of pain that led to that point. There was a lot of difficult life lessons. Yes, they certainly made me stronger. Yes, I am more capable and probably close to unstoppable at this point because of a lot of those difficult situations. And I even talk in my video about we are crystalline already, that we are electromagnetic beings. We have piezoelectric facets to our bodies, and that a piezoelectric crystal actually creates a charge under pressure. So there is something to be said for the challenges and the difficulties that we go through. But I cannot, in my right mind, stand here in front of you, or sit here in front of you, and tell you that I believe life has to be difficult, that I believe that we have to have pain, that there is a knowing in my body, and I don't have enough scientific evidence yet to prove that life can be enjoyable, primarily fun, primarily easy. And yet I still feel so confident in that, going against the very fabric of our global society, that life can be easy, life can be fun. There's another phrase that I really love that says, pick your hard. And the fact of the matter is, we are making a choice. That if I chose to stay in those difficult relationships, or I chose to stay in that 3D corporate job that I knew was sucking the life out of me, eating my soul alive, that would have been the hard that I chose. Because we have two hards, we have two choices: to stay and to willfully, because we know at a prefrontal cortex level what it takes to get out of that, but we are not willing to go through the pain of change. There's another phrase that says that things will not change until the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. And that's mostly true. Many of us will wait until it gets to a point where it's just unbearable and we can't take it anymore. But we don't have to wait for that. That in any moment we can choose. And there was a breaking point in my life. And I won't say that I hit rock bottom. I certainly did initially with the first narcissistic relationship. That dark night of the soul certainly was a spawn, an antithesis to a new life, where I said, I've had enough. I cannot take anymore. I literally was ready to end it. And that was 16 years ago. And it took that long to get to where I'm at today. But what has happened in between was me choosing the other hard. Instead of choosing to say, I'm going to stay in this, I'm going to make this work, I'm going to tough it out, I'm going to find the silver lining and just make the best of it. Although it probably took another 7-8 years to fully extract myself from that. I don't want to make it sound that hard because I'm kind of conflating timelines here. 15, 16 years ago was when I first started to wake up. That was when I really hit rock bottom. I thought I had it figured out through those next 7 years, where I did a lot of self-work. I understood managing my thoughts. I understood manifestation, but I hadn't quite learned some of the core things like boundaries and recognizing the narcissistic energy and untangling manipulative behavior and how to hold myself in that and trust myself and not self-abandon. So there was more lessons to be learned there. So for another 7 years, I did try to, maybe let's call it 5, another 5 years, I did try to make it work. I did try to make the best of it. I had a belief that I was in that toxic relationship because I had something to learn. And yes, I had things to learn, but I didn't have to do it through a painful relationship. It was not my job to change that person. That ultimately, at the end of the day, we are in charge of ourselves and no one else is responsible for where we are at. And it is not our job to take on responsibility for where anyone else is at. Sweep in front of your own door is one of my favorite German proverbs, because if you can imagine, if we all just took care of our own shit, the world would be an amazing place. So my whole point in all of this is 3 years ago, when I moved out and I made the decision, no more toxic relationship, no more toxic work environment. It still took a couple of years to fully quit my job and step fully into my purpose and fully extract myself from that relationship. But I will say that as soon as I made that commitment to get my own place, to protect my mental health, to practice self-love, which meant discipline and keeping myself out of coping mechanisms or toxic relationships, toxic engagements on a daily basis. When I started that process of extracting, that was choosing a new hard. So we have two paths to choose. One, staying the same and trying to make the best of it, avoiding the pain of what it takes to extract ourselves from the 3D world. which actually makes that hard long term. It perpetuates it, it causes it to continue. You will always experience that difficulty if that's the path you choose. And what I'm here today to share is that when you make the choice to choose a new hard, it's going to be hard in the beginning to extract yourself, hard to sharpen your trust, faith, and surrender skills, hard to undo the beliefs that life has to be hard or that you are unworthy, hard to believe in yourself and to show up and to be seen and to be of service, blindly trusting and knowing that your faith is enough, your healing, and if you invest in the proper healing support, will not be forever. In fact, it can be relatively quick, in months, maybe a year or two at most. That as you go through that, these new parts of you, not even new, these original parts of you, the part of the way you were designed to be, the person you were made to be, will start to come forth as you show up in service, willfully going through the process of alchemy, playing and dabbling and testing and switching and shifting and pivoting. That's only a couple years. From the time you decide no more, it doesn't have to be rock bottom. You can make that choice at any moment. Things start to get better instantly. There's new levels of hard, but they're the hard of learning something new, building new muscles, like going to the gym. It's kind of like that ache that feels good. And so when they say choose your hard, it is far harder to choose to stay in something that doesn't serve you, that eats you alive, that drains you, that sucks you dry. That is so much harder. And what a hard life to live, to be on your deathbed and know, I had dreams that died in me. I could have done better. I was made to be more. That is so much harder than making the decision and saying, this is it. There's no more. Because with each day, you regain a piece of yourself. You regain some of your energy. You get one step closer to your dreams, one step closer to your purpose. And I have to tell you guys, the freedom is so beautiful on the other side. The abundance, the evidence that you are supported, the evidence that you are loved and cared for like the best parent could possibly care for their child. When the support shows up over and over and over, there is an overflow of abundance. It's as if what your creator, what God made for you, chases you down. And I made some plans today. It's expensive. It's out of my comfort zone. I'm going to one of the most renowned marketing events in Orlando, Florida. I booked my very first flight on Spirit Airlines, which really isn't a big deal except to be part of their point system. You are officially a free spirit, and that meant so much to me because these are my dreams. That I'm pursuing the psychology degree, that I'm going to get a doctorate in psychology, prove the research necessary to get mental health in education, while continuing to support beautiful beings like you to step into your purpose, heal the trauma that keeps you from it, and learn how to make a living doing it. I could not dream of anything bigger and better, and yet every day it gets bigger and better. And I've learned that sometimes when we've experienced a tumultuous childhood or a traumatic situation in our life, we have that unworthiness wound. Our brain thinks it's keeping us safe from keeping us from feeling any big emotions. It thinks it's keeping us safe by keeping us where we are or keeping us small so that we don't shine too brightly, we don't upset people, we don't rock the boat. But there is a strength that comes when you relieve that trauma and get it up out of the body. There's new energy. and you step into happiness, and at first it feels really uncomfortable. You're like, oh, I even get a little dizzy sometimes. I'm like, I have not felt this level of happy hormones in my body. From a biological standpoint, that's what's happening. It's high levels of serotonin and dopamine, melatonin. The point is, this hard path is so freaking amazing and so freaking cool. This game that's called life, that the divine, our creator, source, God, the universe put together for us, it's fun. It's awesome. It's cool. It's full of joy. Life is amazing. It can be fun. It's supposed to be easy. And I can't not tell people how awesome this is, because there's no scientific evidence to prove that life is supposed to be fun. All I can say is I know beyond a shadow of a doubt the truth resonates in my body at every cell, core cell level. So choose your heart. Have you ever noticed that when you avoid doing something, it's actually the time spent in avoiding it that's way worse than actually doing the thing? The fear of it is so much greater than what actually happens. Also remember this. If you have a belief that life has to be difficult, if you have a belief that life is suffering, if you have a belief there will always be hard times, it can't always be perfect and great, look at it from this perspective. Pain plus resistance equals suffering. There will be challenges. There will be tests, right? As we level up, we have to verify, we have to validate, we have to take demonstrative action. I fully believe this. At a core cellular level, this has been embodied and ingrained in me. Yeah, those tests will come, but once you have really fully sharpened and exacted is the word that wants to come through. I'm not even sure if that's grammatically appropriate, but once you have clarified and solidified and strengthened that gift of, or the skill of, surrender, trust, and faith, there is no more suffering anymore. There will be moments of discomfort when you're like, holy shit, this looks like things are falling apart. Holy crap, this looks like it could be a big problem. Holy guacamole, this could really go downhill for me. But you pull back from that. You say, okay, I see that fear, false evidence appearing real, and I recognize this is the moment where I have to be in faith and trust and surrender. I know that I am cared for by my Creator, always provided for with an overflow of abundance, every day, in every way. And as long as I take the divinely guided action that I am offered, the rest of the time I am not to fix the problem. I am not to carry the weight of the world. I don't have to do it alone. I have to sit and rest in faith, trust, and surrender. So it can be really uncomfortable to allow your Creator to handle things. It can be really uncomfortable to be in the uncertainty. But it all depends on the story we are telling ourselves. That we can reframe and say, this is really cool, and I'm really curious. How is God going to work this out? How is this going to play out? How is this working in my favor? What amazing, beautiful things are coming my way through this. And like the tower moment, when that tower crumbles, we can see it as the decimation of a building, or we can see it as a pile of new bricks to start anew. I cannot find words. I could talk all day long and not be able to articulate the extreme levels of joy and happiness and love and excitement for the future that is available to us all when we step into our purpose and we trust our Creator. With that, I will close. I don't want to talk too much, but I do hope that you can tune into the frequency and the vibration in my body right now, because it's like a burning fire. It's a heat that just wants to share it with you. I want this for all of us. Our Creator wants this for all of us. And that is my purpose. And that is why I'm here for you. So if you'd like help healing the unworthiness wound or the trauma that keeps you from stepping into your life purpose, if you have that tug of war in your brain, the intelligent brain that says, I know I need to do things, but I can't get it done because the subconscious brain still houses the program of unworthiness, I have a method that works for you. It's called brain spotting. It works for all of my clients. It's worked for me. I promise it will work for you. We can heal the trauma, reprogram the subconscious, unearth the real you were designed to be, your purpose, your gifts, your strength, and I can teach you how to make a living doing it. 20 plus years in product development, product management. I've managed billions of dollars of portfolios in multiple different industries, not to mention online business, because here we are. There is nothing I can't help you with. So reach out. I love you. Free 30-minute sessions below if you just want to chat. I do actually do free healing sessions. It's not just a sales call, I promise. So if you would like to start your journey, click the free link below. All right. I love you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. You are deeply, deeply loved, not just by me, but by so many angelic beings, your Creator. There is so much support available to you. All you have to do is reach out and ask. Make sure you are subscribed with this button to get notified of the next videos. Otherwise, if you want to check out some more today, this one will continue the conversation. All right. I love you guys. Bye.